Hi everyone, let's focus on my low time frame Elliott Wave scenarios, including potential trading setup, starting with the scenario that I've shown in a previous video where we had a WX and looking for Y to the upside, where we do have an interesting target box for resistance at 30.2k to 30.4k. Now price, however, stopped at the daily naked point of control and then started to move to the downside, now finding support at the time naked point of control. So in my opinion, yeah, Wave Y would have been more likely if it continued pushing to the upside. Because of this long range right now, I do have two other scenarios I want to show you on this low time frame that might become more probable because of the length of this range. However, before I'm going to show you these, let's look at the divergences on the CVD, because we do have some bullish divergences and we had both bullish as well as bearish divergences going on. So let's move to the chart, and if we then zoom in to this range over here and actually see what happened, you can see that first on the yellow line we had bullish divergences between the low over here and a higher low. So I'm talking about this low and a higher low. So we made a higher low on price, but on the CVD line, the yellow line over here, we made a lower low on the CVD, which is a bullish divergence, basically saying that, hey, we have a bullish divergence between these lows. The target usually for the CVD is taking this high. But as you can see, price never took the target over here. It stopped right a little bit below that high. So it stopped over here, then created a lower high, but a higher high on the yellow line, which is the CVD line, right? So we made a lower high on price, but as you can see, we made a higher high on the CVD line, which is a bearish divergence, eventually leading to price moving to the downside. And I think it is a very important skill for a trader to be very, very flexible, that if you see something that is a potential setup, but eventually you see stuff that might go against your setup, that you know how to act or at least do something, right? Depending on your plan and your strategy, of course. But for now, we found some support at the time naked point of control, and we do have some bullish divergences going on where price is making a higher low, but on the yellow CVD lines over here, the yellow CVD line, we made a lower low. So we have a higher low on price, lower low on CVD. That is a bullish divergence where the target is going to be taking the highs at 29.9k. So that is at least interesting to know. And as it stands now, price is moving at least a little bit to the upside. But let's look at this particular scenario, which we then have a WXY. Then this range over here is another wave X, followed then by a 3-wave Z to the upside. In this particular scenario, usually wave Y is hitting the 1-to-1 of wave W, which clearly didn't happen because it didn't even reach the 0.618. However, it's not necessarily a must, right? Wave Y is still above wave W, which is at least what you want to see in this scenario. And then we have this wave X. So what are then the targets for wave Z as it stands now with the low that is being made? Well, if we take a trend-based fib extension from the low of W to the high of W to then the low that is being made over here at the second X, and we put the fibs that I have on my chart to my, where is it, wave Z over here, then you can see a rare target for wave Z is the 0.618. And the most common target for a wave Z is between the 1 and the 1.236, which basically means above the high that we made over here. So that is something to take into account as well. Now, if price is going to dip a little bit deeper, these targets will move to the downside. Of course, the 0.618 is still a target. It's a valid target. So if we move to the upside and hit the 0.618, that's absolutely fine. It is a valid target. You might even get to liquidity over here because we do have some liquidity, some highs over here, right? We have a double top for some liquidity. So price could definitely move to the upside, take the highs, and then move to the downside for continuation, as mentioned in my previous video with the other counts that we have. So this is definitely a count that does look interesting at the moment. However, the rare target is then the most interesting in this scenario for then a continuation to the downside. That is then what to look for, because if we do zoom out for now at least a little bit and actually remove the clutter from my charts, then we in the previous video have been looking at a few scenarios, which is this one over here, where you have a 5-wave move, then a 3-wave move, and then looking for a 5-wave move. Invalidation is price taking the high. We have this one over here, where this is a wave 1, same situation with a 3-wave 2 and then a 3, because in this situation over here, we're looking at an A, B, C. And we had, this goes very quickly, a WXY in a 3-wave or an A, B, C. Now, if you want more information about these scenarios, please click on the video that's popping up at the end screen, because I now want to show you the trading scenarios that we have. So we had these two scenarios, and This one is still deemed very risky, especially with potential wave Z targets that go above the invalidation level at 31k. So for me, by far, of course, the most safer option is to see price making some sort of a high over here, retrace down, create a lower high, see some CVD divergences, bearish ones, and then the potential entry will be the second high over here for a move to the downside, with the clear invalidation being the 31k level for the stop loss, because this over here would be catching a knife if price is moving to the upside and you enter over here. It's like catching a knife. The more safer option is to wait for at least a little bit of a sign for price to continue to the downside, or at least for a potential move to the downside, right? So yeah, this is something to take into account. Again, if you want more information about the other scenarios that I've shown you on the higher time frame just now that I went through very quickly, please click on the most recent update video, because I go in depth into these scenarios and I think it will really help you. For now, I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope it was valuable. Thanks for subscribing as well, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye bye.